Okay, dear. I think this lady has a very interesting perspective.
Okay.
And I want you to watch and let me know what you think.
Okay.
Came home to get married. Fast forward, I'm now a stay-at-home mom to 4 amazing kids and a supportive wife to my husband who works very, very hard. And I cannot stand it when people say, oh, you kerja, you belajar tinggi-tinggi, pergi overseas semua, mak bapak you hantar you pergi overseas, lepas tu you duduk rumah je. You jadi suri rumah je.
I dah hafal lah.
Excuse me, uncle and auntie. I tak jadi
Uncle
suri
and
rumah
auntie,
je. I'm not only a stay-at-home wife or a stay-at-home mom. I am raising the future minds of this country and this ummah.
Betul.
Okay?
I think dah.
Okay.
Okay, so what do you think of like belajar tinggi-tinggi? Like, I mean, this woman is saying she studied so hard and studied so far.
Okay.
Like in Canada for 4 years in journalism, and then she ended up being a stay-at-home mother. So the question here is her education wasted?
And this is, she gets this thinking from
From uncles and aunties.
so she said uncles and
The older
aunties, so they have this
generation.
thinking that you studied so hard, you paid so much,
Yeah.
you invested 4 years of your life.
I mean, it's not cheap lah. I would imagine going to Canada for 4 years it's a bomb, like 100K maybe.
You got a degree,
Yeah,
and you're sitting at home now to be
Yeah.
a stay-at-home mother.
yeah.
So okay. So to analyze this, you need to understand first of all a few things. So the way I would talk about it is, okay. So the overall question is it wasted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is your degree wasted if you are a stay-at-home mother? Okay. So first thing, I think we need to understand first of all why they would think it is wasted.
Okay.
Okay. And to do that, we need to find out what is the task, what are the roles of a stay-at-home mother,
Okay.
and then what is the purpose of the degree, and then do the things that you get out of the degree apply to the task that a stay-at-home mother has to do lah.
Okay.
And I think from there we can assess whether it's wasted or not, right? Okay, so maybe I ask you first lah, because I'm not a stay-at-home mother, you are. So, what are the main tasks of a stay-at-home mother? Is it just
For me?
cuci baju, wash
No
clothes?
lah, no lah. Okay, I don't clean.
Okay.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay lah, I mean,
I cook and I raise, like what she said, raise the future generation of this ummah, like the young minds, and I think that's important. I think it's important for mothers to be present at home.
so it's just mainly upbringing,
Yes.
which I imagine would include teaching,
Yeah,
which would include
instilling values.
and not just academic teaching, like values and even outdoors and all that lah. So I think like
Yes.
there are tasks there are these tasks that we have to do. So why people would say it is wasted is that if you're just going to stay at home, right, just
Twiddle my
going
thumbs.
to stay at home and cook, why do you need a degree for that, right? That's what they are thinking lah. And I think to understand why they would have this kind of mindset or this kind of thinking is because I think there is an accepted understanding or general understanding that if you get a degree, the main intention is to use the
To
degree
get a job.
is to get a job. And if you're not using that to get a job, then there's no like return on investment. You spend so much time and money, and you're not going to work. So it's like a loss.
And you're
them.
left with so much loans to pay.
You're left with many loans to pay and so on. So I think this is maybe this is what many of the older
generation,
the older generation has this kind of thinking. I think maybe because 30, 40 years ago, getting a degree means a lot in terms of finding a job.
Not many of them have a
And-
degree.
Yeah, and it's like it was probably like a big thing.
Yeah,
Like I
correct.
think there's not so many in the community also who get degrees maybe
correct,
about 30,
correct.
about 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think maybe they said if you have this opportunity to study, why are you not using it?
Yeah.
So it's wasted.
Yeah. And I would imagine a father who struggled a lot, who don't really have the opportunity to study and struggle a lot with multiple jobs to raise the children, to send the daughter to,
Yeah.
overseas and everything semua, spend so much money and then the daughter wants to stay at home. Yeah, I would imagine he would feel that all dia punya efforts, hard work wasted lah.
Yeah, because they also experience the struggle of
correct.
working such
the
jobs.
The elder generation,
You know, for example, like bawa taxi day and night, driving for hours and hours and hours,
multiple jobs,
just to send my daughter to a university, and she wants to be a stay-at-home mother. So I think I can understand.
Yeah, I also can understand that part.
So you agree lah that it's wasted,
No lah, I don't agree that it's wasted, but I can understand where the elder generation is coming from.
Okay, so
although they should just keep their comments to themselves lah.
No lah, I mean they give advice also lah. You must consider these people have gone through life, right? And I think I also think that they have this idea, they have this thinking also that if you didn't take a degree, you know, you could have spent your years. If you really want to be a housewife, okay, we respect that. But you know, you can learn how to cook, right? Because maybe they have this thinking in those years that you studied, you don't do something as macam basic as learning how to cook, right? So if you spend more time so-called in the kitchen, then you might be a better mother to manage the household. Maybe the thinking is like that also lah. Which I think okay.
But how do you get to the managerial role of a mother if it's not for the education?
Okay lah, but that's another thing lah. But I think it's either you develop the expertise in some field or you develop the experience needed to be a stay-at-home mother. Okay, so I think now we are clear of not just the tasks of a stay-at-home mother, but also why people would think that it is wasted. And there could be some truth in what they think. But I think when they think of it that way, it's possible that they don't really understand the value of a university education.
Like the purpose of education lah.
Mainly the value like how it develops you. And I think, and that's because they think it's just for the cert and to get a job. Right? In other words,
actually that's what many elder generation punya mindset. As in dorang memang ada mindset macam tu.
But I tend to see it differently. I don't see a degree course as just to get the cert. I see it as going through the process where you experience firsthand the process of learning, right? How do you learn things and so on. So there's something that I learned that.
But you're not going to use. I mean, I also understand lah, because you're not going to use whatever that you learn in your degree course. To home,
okay,
right? Like algebra ke?
Yeah. So there are things to talk about. Okay, so let's talk about a few of the degree courses lah. So there are some degree courses that are very specific to the job that you're going to do. Like for example, if you take law or medicine, in such courses, when you take law or medicine, you want to be a lawyer or a doctor.
Okay.
It's quite normal lah, right? There's a high probability that you are going to be a doctor.
You're going to use what you learn also lah to the field.
Yeah, and chances are the things that you learn in the degree course are directly applicable in your job.
Yeah.
Okay, but then there are also other degree courses where you learn a general skill of learning. Like for example, engineering. So I can speak a lot about engineering, having gone through it. So when you take a general course like engineering, you don't necessarily end up becoming an engineer. Okay. Yeah, unlike a doctor and a lawyer, people in law degrees and medical degrees. When you take engineering, the process of the courses are highly mathematical. Okay, you learn things that you are never going to use as they are in real life. Okay, unlike law and medicine. Okay, so for example, so in engineering we learn something like differential equations or even like Laplace transforms. So all this, rather difficult mathematics things.
Okay.
No one's going to use it. Even if you become an engineer, you're not going to use it. But when you learn those things, you get a taste of applying ideas, applying concepts to solve problems. You learn reasoning. You learn analysis. And these skills are portable to other disciplines, to other industries. Okay, so like for example, actually many of my classmates lah in NUS, they were engineering degree holders, but they end up becoming teachers. Many of them are going to work in banks or even in the military and so on.
Different.
Yeah, so like for example, why would Singapore Armed Forces send their scholar, for example, to overseas engineering degree course? So some of my people in NS, some of my friends
lah kan.
Yeah, so I think there is value there because the skills are portable in other disciplines, right? And that is on top of the discipline needed for completing a degree course, right? So you need to manage your time, you need to meet your deadlines.
And disciplines and routines are very important, especially when you have children. Yeah.
So I would say that those skills, because they are portable in other industries, they could also be portable in the life or the experiences of a stay-at-home mother juga.
Raising children.
Yeah, because I think, like for example, problem solving. Right? In engineering, we understand the idea that there's a system, it's made up of parts. You need to debug each part, and then you need to integrate the various parts. You need to see how the entire thing works and solve the problem in that sense. So I imagine that, generally in life, there are problems to be solved, and we got to look at the root cause. You got to look at how this affects this, treat them separately first, and then how they come together and so on. And these are necessary skills, I feel.
At home.
Even at home, right? Even if I'm solving a problem between kids fighting, or whether, somebody has been bullied at school or what, I think, we need to look at what is going on and so on. So I think, of course, we can argue that you don't need a degree to have this kind of skill, but I think it builds a kind of mindset. I think this kind of degree course builds the kind of mindset.
So you're saying it's a brain training lah?
It's some sort of a brain training exercise. You develop all these skills. And so this lady, I think she's, what course is she doing? Journalism, which is more of like a social science kind of degree, like political science, sociology and so on. In those kind of courses, you learn a lot of, you do a lot of reading.
Yeah.
You do a lot of
writing. And I
writing.
think that's important as a mother.
Yeah, I think even like today, in this like information age, there's like ChatGPT and DeepSeek everywhere. You need to know how to read critically, analyze information. Like something like, for example, what age do I teach my child to learn a bicycle? Right? Yeah. So you can just look at one website, get some information, or you can look at a few sources, learn to analyze critically, and then make the best informed decision. Of course, that's just one example, but there are many other things that you can. And I imagine,
but I think it also develops you punya habit of reading and seeking knowledge. So I would imagine people who don't go through any form of education, they wouldn't, they would just hear from people and just follow the crowd. So we do not want that lah. Like we want more educated mothers at home.
In other words, the decisions that they make in the household would not be as informed as they could. Correct. So it's not really using your. It's not really taking a degree because you want to apply for a job and you need to use that cert. It's more about how you went through the entire process of learning. Of course, pages.
Yeah, but of course there are many degree holders yang when we talk to someone we would know, right?
In this day and age, people can just get an online degree. 1 year online degree where you just meet a few requirements and you pay a sum of money.
That is just like learning for the cert lah, just to get the cert. So I also think that it also depends on how you go about your education journey. Like if you are just there to get the cert, then you wouldn't really benefit much from the program, but the program is there. So if you are there, to really benefit out of that whole entire process and course and to really develop yourself, you would benefit a lot lah.
I think that's a possibility.
I think many people would have the idea okay, the education that I get, I'm not gonna use it at home, right? But I would imagine that, like you said just now, it's a brain training kan. So I have this example that I read online. Like for example, a footballer, he would go through the training of a gym. Like to lift
not
weights.
Not online lah. That's why I talked to you about it lah. But never mind. Continue.
I saw it online. Okay. So he would lift weights. To develop the strength, and he wouldn't apply the knowledge of lifting weights to the football tournament, right? But he would use the strength that he developed in the gym for the football.
In other words, in a football game you don't lift weights.
Yeah.
But because separately you did a training, and that strengthened your body, you're able to apply it lah.
You're able to run with your strength and kick the ball as hard as you can. So I would imagine it is similar kind of concept here. Like when you study, you develop your brain to be critical, to be analytical, to be problem solvers. and you apply that at home. You won't use algebra at home, but in chemistry ke apa whatever tu semua. But or like even doing experiments and like troubleshooting the root cause of the problem. Tu semua you would use it at. You wouldn't use it at home, the experiments, but you would use the skills, kan, to macam solve problems with your children,
but
with your husband even.
Okay, but you know why people don't see it that way?
Why?
Because if you go to the gym and train, the results are visible. You can see the muscle getting bigger. You can see the person running faster.
Yeah.
But when it comes to training the brain, people can't really see the effects lah.
But you can
It's
differentiate.
Not, but it's not as visible. The muscle getting bigger is obvious.
Oh.
The guy running faster is obvious. It's visibly obvious. But becoming smarter is not something that is visible. And I think maybe that's why people think that the degree course is just for the cert, right?
Yalah.
And the purpose is to use the cert to work. And if you're not doing that, it is wasted.
Yeah.
Okay, so good. I think we can agree that it is not
Not
wasted.
wasted.
But
But we're not downplaying people who don't have.
Okay lah, now of course lah, we don't downplay anyone.
Yeah. I mean there are other channels to also seek knowledge and like develop the routines, and even though if you don't have the opportunity to take the degree.
No, I'll say something else. I was saying it is not wasted, but you have to maximize your degree learning experience and not just see it as I just want to get the cert.
Yeah.
Right? You go through the process. You make sure you don't plagiarize any assignment.
Copy kawan.
You make sure you meet your deadlines. You do all your readings, and you really will develop a sharp, amazing mind that would help you in many aspects of life, including being a stay-at-home mother. Actually, in fact, when I was in NUS, there are people, ladies or girls, who when they start the degree course already, they said, I want to be a tai-tai.
From the start.
From the start.
What's tai-tai? We have non-Singaporean
tai-tai is
listeners
like,
here.
Marry a rich man.
Marry a rich man and just sit at home.
Look after kids. And some of them said just play mahjong the whole day. Yeah, but I guess, it's not. And people wonder, why you taking a degree course? No lah, it's a natural thing to do. I qualify. And then I just get the course lah. I just complete the degree. Yeah, but
if she... Okay, I would imagine usually this kind of thing is like macam you go through the degree course and then after that along the way and then she decides to be a stay-at-home mother. But from the start,
wow, that's from the start.
Quite amazing. But then she is depriving of the spot of someone else who can qualify also.
Oh, that's another thing lah. Some people will say that
you
don't want to use your degree to work. So because you took a spot in a university, you're depriving somebody else from that spot lah.
No, because in Singapore there's a quota kan. So if she doesn't take, another person might qualify if that person didn't take. Because they take the top 5, right?
I think if you qualify for the course, you have a right to take the course whether or not you want to use your degree in however way lah.
Okay
right? You cannot blame the person for getting
not blaming
for wanting to get smarter. And if the other person didn't qualify, then that's the other person's
rezeki masing-masing lah. Okay lah, fine.
Yeah, of course. Another dimension to look at it is that it's about government investment lah. But it's more of a political thing. Like the government already invested in you, and then you don't want to contribute back to the economy. Well, I would argue against that by saying that stay-at-home mothers do contribute to the economy. Because you're raising your kids. This is an investment for the future.
Yeah, correct.
So I would say
that child is the investment. Is the return.
Yeah, so I would not. That's how I would respond if somebody says, you took a spot in university and you deprive somebody else of the spot. How could you? Okay lah, not to that extent lah, but but yeah, hopefully this has been beneficial.
No, actually there's another angle to it.
Yeah, what is it?
Like macam you take a degree course so that it's like a safety net.
Oh.
So macam if like let's say anything happens to you or your husband, let's say divorce ke, your husband cheat ke, your husband die ke, at least you have a safety net to fall back to.
Actually, I hear this a lot.
And to get a job and like to start your life all over again.
Why was this never a problem in the 60s or 50s? Like a long time ago.
That's a very good question.
Right. No, because okay, so let's analyze this. Let's try to see what we can comment about this. So there's also this thinking, or this kind of advice. You should work. You should not work. You should, even if you want to be a stay-at-home mother, you get a degree because in case something happens,
correct. It's a
something
safety net.
happens to your husband, or he's at work, he does something, he cheats on you, and then
I know, right?
the marriage breaks up. Then what are you going to be left with? At least if you have a degree, you can find a job.
But
right?
I would argue that, okay, maybe 12 years ago, that would be relevant.
Why 12?
Because because I had that concern 12 years ago. Okay, and I wanted to be. I told like people that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mother at 17, 12 years ago. And at that time,
you told them at 17 lah, not you want to be a stay-at-home mother at 17 lah.
No lah, of course not. But yeah, okay. So the concerns were that lah, macam like if you
what happens if your
what
husband
happens if
leaves
your
you?
husband dies and like if you don't have a job apa semua. But I would argue that there are so many degree holders who can't find a job too.
But
So
it gives you a higher chance, right? In some sense, to get a better job.
I don't think so.
Okay, I think this kind of thing.
It's really rezeki masing-masing because I really saw like many friends yang with degree who really struggle to find a job.
But there are other reasons for that, like maybe tray weight or what.
Yalah.
Fussy people. Maybe I don't know.
Okay, but macam I still feel that it's rezeki masing-masing.
Okay.
So
I
macam
mean, their respective blessings lah, whatever they get.
yeah.
No, but I think there's a what I find a bit disturbing about the such a way of thinking is, I think there is a lack of tawakal in that sense. If you think that your rezeki comes from the degree, then you're not thinking about it properly because the rezeki has to come from Allah SWT.
Yes.
So, and we all know that Allah SWT is not going to put anyone in a position that they cannot tolerate, that they cannot bear. So, I mean, my response to that, this woman doesn't seem to have that problem, right? She doesn't.
She seems so confident.
Yeah. So I think the response to that kind of question would be there is tawakal, because even if you have a job, you can be retrenched.
Yeah.
Right? You are not.
I mean, what if your company bankrupts?
Yeah.
Tomorrow?
So there's also a probability of that happening.
Yeah.
Or like it's not a guarantee in that sense, because it ultimately depends on what Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala wants to put you through in life.
And test you lah.
Yeah. So I think that it is worrying. Oh wait. This goes back to what Hassan was saying the other day.
Is it?
Yeah, he says one of the strengths of one of the quwwah, the strengths in a human being, is this thing called courage, shaja'ah. I think he said that. So I think when there's an absence of courage, there is fear. And when there is fear, and you're using your fear to make your decisions, then you will not be making good decisions. So I think ultimately we also have to ask ourselves, and of course, part of courage is also to have tawakal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
if you want to have trust in Allah SWT, you need some level of courage.
Courage, yeah, correct.
Yeah. So I think that's what he meant. This Imam Al-Ghazali talked about courage, and we have to be mindful of when we allow fear to make our decisions for us. Right. So I think the idea that you need a backup plan, you need a safety net. Okay, but think about it in the context of how much of your decision making is based on this, is based on fear, and so on. So I think there are things to think about in a sense.
Yeah. So conclusion, tawakal, ladies.
No lah, I'm not saying that. Conclusion: if you qualify for a degree course, you should take it. Whether or not you're going to work in that domain, in that discipline, whether or not you're going to be a stay-at-home mother, because I think ultimately, if you don't waste your time, as long as you learn something, even not in a degree course, even at home, learning how to cook, learning learning to be the best chef in the world, as long as you're learning something, you're developing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the
That's the goal
message.
lah. That's the goal.
As humans, we are blessed with a brain, we are blessed with intellect, and
It's a duty.
And it is a duty to make the most of it.
It's a responsibility
InsyaAllah.
to
Okay, hope
jaga ni.
this has been
Akal.
beneficial. Do you have anything more to say?
No.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.